Welcome to another episode of the Iced Tea Podcast. Today, we are getting the family perspective. I'm interviewing Jennifer Daniels, the wife to Carolina Hurricanes assistant coach, Jeff Daniels. And not only that, she is an entrepreneur here in the Raleigh area, a mom, and she's going to give us that unique perspective of what it was like living with a player and now an assistant coach. Iced Tea is a production of Mix 101.5 and presented by Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where every patient is treated like family. Jennifer Daniels, thank you so much for joining the Iced Tea Podcast today. Okay, so I know a game day for you and Jeff probably looked very different, but what generally does a home game day look like for you both?
Well, I'm usually working. For him, it's really no different than when he played, which is what I think is kind of funny. There's definitely a schedule, and everybody has the same general schedule. So they go and they do what they do at the rink. I guess they skate or work out, and everybody has a different routine. And then they have lunch there, and then they come home and they nap. And that is the coveted nap time.
The nap time.
Yeah, the nap time.
It's a big thing,
and you cannot disturb the nap time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly. Are these naps like long naps? Because everyone has a nap.
Everyone has a nap. Yeah. No, maybe an hour.
Okay.
We played, they were probably
like
longer.
Good amount of time.
A good amount of time.
Yes.
And then after the nap, then there's relax time.
Okay.
Still can't be bothered during relax time.
Yes.
And then the shower, your dress time, and they leave. And it's exactly to the minute. Not like, it might be, 4:40 or 4:50. It is exactly like, depends on the time of the game, but at a 7 o'clock game, it is 3:38.
And they are just so, do you think that's superstition or is just regiment? Like it's just.
Oh, I think it's both. 100%.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
I think the superstition creates the regimen, and then the regimen just becomes the life.
I love that. It's so true.
Yeah.
Now, I love that Jeff and maybe even you. When did you all get together? How long have you been together?
Gosh, I hate to say because then it would be divulging our real age. We met in 92.
Okay, so where I was going with that was you got to witness him win a Stanley Cup as a coach as well as a player? Yeah. Yes, okay, because he won with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
He did, yeah.
So what was that win like for him and for you as a family? As from the coach's perspective.
Oh my God.
In 2006.
There's nothing like it. I mean, it is like a dream. I mean, it's just like, it's a dream. I mean, it's as exciting for a coach as it is for a player. I mean, you're just totally vested in it. And it's just, it's exhilarating. I mean, I can't even describe it. Like,
and you were there in 2006?
Yeah, for sure.
What was it like being were you in the stands?
We were in the stands, yeah, and we stood the whole time. Like I remember Kristen Laviolette, and we were just like holding hands, like, oh my God, like just you couldn't believe it was happening. Like, and you don't want to think it's happening because when we went up, was it 3-1 when Justin got, I think, the third goal?
Yes.
You're like, oh my God, this could really happen. Because we came back and we were so devastated after the Edmonton loss, thinking we were going to take it then. And so, Game 7, and it crazy. So, yeah.
Now, before y'all had met and got together, did you know anything about hockey prior?
No, hardly anything.
So you learned all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Greensboro and then partly in Ohio. And I mean, I dated guys in college that were into hockey, but no. Yeah, nothing.
And then when you met Jeff and you
I still feel like I know nothing, but yeah.
No, I'm sure you know more than you think you do. I did want to know, like, what is his coaching style like? And I made a joke earlier to one of our producers. I was like, is he like an Abby Lee Miller, from like Dance Moms? Is he like really intense or is he softer?
What is he would probably be the gentle giant.
Okay.
He's very quiet. And he kind of it's not like Rod, I guess. Rod leads by example. But Rod's much more outgoing and enthusiastic, and Jeff is very quiet.
Okay.
He's the silent, quiet.
Speaking of, is he okay? Because I was listening to the broadcast and he hurt his finger.
Right.
What happened?
That day in the life, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny. When I get a text from Rod that says, "Hey Jen, I'm working," and Jeff's text somehow he must have texted me, and of course it just said "call me," which is like okay,
sure,
got buried. I mean, I'm not going to call him. It didn't say there's an emergency or anything.
Right.
Rod said, "Hey Jen, Jeff got cut at practice. Just thought you should know." I'm like, "Oh, okay, must be bad." I'm like, "Is this bad?" He goes, "It's pretty bad." So then Marty Isbell calls me and tells me he's got a special guest in the office with him. So, and then tells me what happened. So apparently he severed a tendon.
Oh my gosh.
So he'll have some surgery on Friday and they'll stitch him. He's on the trip.
And he's on the trip and he's ready to go.
It looks like he's got like a paddle on his arm. He's very annoyed by the whole thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can imagine, as when he was playing, I'm sure you being on the other side of the glass worry about injury, but if you're coaching, you're not, you don't have that.
You don't usually worry about it. But I mean, it's funny. Jeff has had these fluke accidents. Like, a couple years ago, his head got split, by like a rogue puck that Svetch had was practicing shots after practice. And it just literally dropped out of the sky and, cracked his head open.
Oh my gosh. So these guys, these hockey players are built different. They are tough.
Yeah.
That is insane.
So I don't worry. I mean, they have the best care.
That's right.
I mean, immediately they're taken care of. So it was like, oh, okay. They're fine. Are you going on the trip? He's like, yeah, I'll be on the trip.
That is how is the travel for him? Does he get tired?
He does. He does.
It's got to be a lot. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I think it's exhausting, but it's a routine. It's a job. And so when he's home, he likes his home time. He doesn't like to travel in the summer. Jordan and I get really upset. We're like, can we go on a trip? And he's like, oh my God, I just went on a trip. We're like, yeah, you were at the Ritz-Carlton. We don't feel bad for you.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask you that too, but we can jump to that because I feel like in the off season and even during this break coming up that a lot of people just want to get away or enjoy, but he's probably like the last thing I want to do is get
now
on
we
a
have
plane.
the situation with the hand, but
right.
He'll go down and see Jordan. She's graduating from UGA.
Your daughter, yes. Oh my goodness, how exciting!
I know. So he'll visit her for a couple of days because unfortunately, one of the things you don't always get to go to some of the things with the schedule. So he'll miss Dad's weekend, so he'll go down and visit her before Dad's weekend. But
oh my God! What year is she?
A senior. Yeah, she's graduating.
What does she want to go into?
Marketing.
Good for her.
So
marketing, maybe in the NHL?
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited for her. You'll have to keep me posted on that.
For sure.
So tell me about your love story. You don't need to tell me where or when it began, but when
you mean when he had his mullet in jean jumpsuit?
Stop it. A mullet and a jean jumpsuit. Okay,
true Canadian tuxedo.
Was it love at first sight? Were you like that man right there?
Not at all.
How did you meet? No. What happened?
We met. I mean, this was, back before dating apps and cell phones. We met through a mutual friend. She actually, I think, was working in college. She had an internship with a team, and I knew her through mutual friends. And it was after they won the Eastern Conference Championship in Boston.
Okay.
And so they were coming back to Pittsburgh to celebrate. And my girlfriend and I were at a bar, and, she says, oh my God. And we saw these guys walking in and sports coats and matching T-shirts. And I thought, oh God, who are these guys? Like something from a convention. And she's like, oh my God, it's the Pittsburgh Penguins. We have to go. I know so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So we met through a mutual friend like that.
That is amazing. But at the time, were you living in Pittsburgh or Pittsburgh? I'm sorry.
I was living in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Okay.
Working
you were in
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Got you.
I had gotten stood up by another guy that night. Yeah. So I was a little bit mad. Yeah.
But talk about destiny.
I know. So we were just friends. We were this happy little group of people because she knew a bunch of the guys, and we just would hang out and, meet up. He would give us tickets. We would go to the game. We'd meet up at, the Pittsburgh bars. I think it was called Sports Garden or Johnsy's down in Pittsburgh at the time. Yeah. And so she was an insurance adjuster, and she got called away to St. Louis on storm duty. And we still continued to go out and have fun. Yeah. And she had always said, never date a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Like, got it, girl. I understand.
Yes.
And then so when she went away and we still continued to hang out, that's apparently when it blossomed. Yeah.
And you were like, my friend's not here, so I'm not going to listen to what she has to say, and I'm going to date.
No, he's a nice guy.
Oh, my goodness. Iced Tea is presented by Lane & Associates Family Dentistry. Now, Lane is not just a single office. They have offices all over North Carolina with 50 locations spreading across the state. Visit lanedds.com to find a location near you. And so then after Pittsburgh, when did he become... I think it's fascinating that he was a Whaler. That is so cool. I love those nights when we celebrate the Whalers. So did you go with him to Connecticut?
Yeah, so we had just gotten married at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were on our honeymoon. And so that was the big thing. He did not want to get married. I don't have a contract, I'm not getting married until I have a contract. I'm like, that could be like every year. I mean, we never know. So anyway, we went ahead and got married, and we went on our honeymoon, and he's like, guess what? Rick called, we got a contract. And he made me guess. And I think at the time
He made you guess what team?
And I went through the entire roster, and I'm like, Winnipeg, tell me we're not going to win. He's like, nope. And I'm like, we're done. I've guessed them all. Yeah. And I went through everything. He's like, no, there's still one more you haven't guessed. I'm like, what? And he's like, Hartford. I'm like, Hartford? What? The insurance capital of the world. He's like, we're going to Hartford. And that's where we went.
What were you secretly hoping he said? Like,
oh gosh,
LA Kings.
No, where was I hoping? Because we were coming from Pittsburgh, and we're testing my memories here.
I'm living for all of it, so thank you for sharing this.
He was picked up. He would get picked up on expansion draft all the time. So we had gotten picked up by Florida at the time. I liked Florida. I was kind of like, we can't stay there. Like, it was good.
Right. I could see that being fun.
No, I don't know where I was hoping. I think I was hoping we'd go back to Pittsburgh because, that was common ground. My friends were there. I didn't know, but I knew I didn't want to be in Canada. I was not down with Winnipeg or Edmonton. So I was glad that wasn't one of those. I was probably hoping for a bigger city like Chicago or New York or not Boston, too cold.
But you were born and raised in Greensboro.
In Greensboro.
So just for this time, it all kind of worked out that you happened to meet Jeff and you were in Pittsburgh. Yeah. And then, so you're in Hartford. And at this point, when they got the news that they were now going to be in Carolina, were you excited about that, or how did that work?
Well, that again, he was, always getting picked up in the expansion draft, so he got picked up by Nashville. So the year that they actually moved, the year they spent in Greensboro, he was not with the team. And so he then signed as a free agent, then I guess in 99.
Got it.
Because I think 98 was when they came. Is that right? Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so he had just gotten picked up. There was talk of where they were going, and we didn't know where they would land or end up as far as the expansion. But he had gotten sent to Nashville, which then sent us to Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Okay. Yeah. So, but even with all this travel and all this craziness, somehow you met the man of your dreams, and then you end up basically back home.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was great. Yeah, that is terrific. I
love that worked out for y'all.
He now jokes. He's like, I don't think I could ever live in a cold weather city. Because he thought, I'm Canadian and I can handle. He thought it was going to be too hot. He thought he would not be able to handle the heat. And no, he's gotten quite used to it. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, he likes it. Yeah.
Good. And then you have a beautiful daughter, Jordan, and she's a senior now, going into marketing. Was she? I can't quick math, but was he still playing? He was still playing.
He was still playing.
Okay.
Yeah, but she doesn't remember, I don't think.
She was just little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the year exactly. I feel like it was 2003. She's born in 2000. It might have been 2004.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was that like, seeing her dad? Oh, I guess you were saying she doesn't really remember, but her dad out there on the ice and then becoming a coach. And has she really realized the extent of what her dad did when she was
does
little?
Now.
Yeah.
I think she wishes. I mean, she does look up videos and stuff, and she gets the biggest kick out of finding that one or two fighting videos, and she loves to pull those up. She totally gets it now. I think she wishes she had seen days when he was actually playing. Mm-hmm. So, but she likes it when they have family skates. Although I will say she can't skate. Jeff did not teach her to skate. I'm not a good skater. We are not the skating family. He's the only skater. But she likes that part of it, the camaraderie when everybody's out in the ice and just kind of, fooling around doing what they do.
Do you hang out with the other wives a lot, or?
I mean, some. I know you're busy. I'm busy. You do, because we have similar schedules. We all get it, so when their husbands are off, your husband's off, or when they're on the road, we have free time to go to dinner or whatever. So we try.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to do that when you're younger and when you're playing.
Yeah.
Because you're all at the same point in your life. And then as we've all gotten, older and, now you're coaching, I mean, your kids are in all different directions and everybody's in a complete different direction. So you're in different stages of your life. So when you're playing and you're starting your family, everybody's in that same place. And we're all in different places now. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But I'm sure so many of them look up to you and what you and Jeff have and your, the roots that you've set here and just what a wonderful family you are.
Thank you.
But okay. We've talked a lot about Coach Jeff. And now let's talk about you, Batty. You are an entrepreneur, a business owner. You own the MedSpa in Raleigh. So talk to me. I was reading online that you had been in kind of corporate America doing sales and marketing, and you were like, no, I need to follow my passion. Talk to me about that journey.
Well, it was kind of on accident. I went back to school when Jordan went back to kindergarten.
Okay.
I, was doing that corporate thing. So I went back to school because we did actually have another son who died at birth. So that changed a lot of trajectory for both Jeff and I think. And so and I had stopped my corporate job when I was pregnant. So when Jeff was then going to Albany, New York.
Okay.
And I chose not to go because my roots were here. I wanted to be here. Jordan was starting kindergarten. It was really important for me to stay rooted in North Carolina because I had obviously very strong roots here.
Yeah.
So I went back to school when she went back to school. So, and it's fine, share that, whatever. But I just wasn't sure if that would be that's not sort of the flavor of the...
Oh, no. Listen, this is all about your story and all that. And I'm so sorry that you went through that. But I know that you are probably, so many women that does happen. And just for them to know that they can...
Yeah.
Have
it's, infant loss is, it happens too. I'm always shocked at, as many women lose infants, infant death as, who get breast cancer. It's a big number and it's not often talked about. So, so I went back to school to follow my passion. And like I said, she was in school and also to create some sanity, I think, not become depressed. So I often say, his name was Noah, that Noah's gift was that I was able to now give back to the community of Raleigh by doing what I love.
Oh my gosh.
So,
oh my goodness.
And it's funny, oddly enough, National Esthetician Day is also the same day as Infant Loss and Awareness Day. I know. Did not know that for until probably 5 years ago.
One a thing that I'm noticing in your life is so many things are just full circle moments for you. Yeah. And I think that says a lot about who you are as a person because you are I literally have never met you until today. We've texted a little bit, but you are such a light.
Thank you.
You are a shining light. And I am again, so sorry that happened, but I'm so thankful that you have found your way in this positivity and has found a way to make it all make sense, and something that is so hard to make sense of. But you do have this successful booming business.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. It's not like work.
Find that skincare was your passion?
I think ever since I was a little girl, I've always loved potions and salves. And I think everybody has a story. And my story was, when I was a kid, I had terrible eczema, bad eczema. A lot of people have acne. I was a really ugly, ugly baby. My mother was told,
I don't believe that.
I'm going to get out a picture.
Second.
Apparently I was allergic to my formula. Back then they weren't breastfeeding kids and the formula, and I would throw up and then I'd get crusty face. And so my mom, of course it's your child and you're so proud of her. And this woman literally told her, that is the ugliest baby I have ever seen, Pat. And she was like, no, she's not. And it really, I really looked bad. A rash on my face. So anyway, I always had this eczema and, I think I came by it naturally, genetically. My father had it. So I think I always had some salve or balm that I was always trying to, do to ease my discomfort.
Sure.
And that just always kind of stuck with me. So yeah, I've just always kind of had something in my purse to here's this, you need a lip balm. I've got one. Oh, I'll make something for you. When I was 9 or 10 years old, I made my own clown makeup just because I could make that. I'm going to make it out of whatever I made it out of.
Okay, so you might already have this, but am I seeing a skincare line in your future?
I don't know.
Because that would be amazing.
Who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
What what are some of the treatments and things that you offer at the med spa?
Oh my gosh, so many things. We do lots of anti-aging and also prejuvenation. We do a lot of skincare, consultations, facials, laser treatments. I mean, we do just about everything. Yeah.
I am in my mid-30s, and what would you say is like the one thing that ladies my age really need to focus on as we start? Because I'm seeing it now. I'm like, okay, we're getting the wrinkles. We're doing this. What is like your tip and trick?
Well, honestly, I would say the big thing is you've got to have good skincare, like medical grade skincare, because that's something you can do and keep doing it. I mean, I would love it if everybody came, when they were laying on our tables all the time.
Right.
But you can't, that's not realistic. You have to be able to continue doing, your skincare and stay on a regimen while you're at home. So you need to be on a good skincare program. You need a good esthetician. I will say this, because I think a lot of the girls in their 30s, they think Botox is skincare, and it's not. It is a tool. It assists your skincare. I'm not against it.
You are speaking right to me as a girl that just got Botox for the second time.
Totally not against it. I love it. I mean, it absolutely is wonderful, but it is not the answer.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to help prolong, not have the wrinkles.
Yes.
You need to, while your face, while the muscles are paralyzed,
right.
and while they're not moving, now is the time to be doing all the things so that you can be building elastin and collagen underneath it. So as it wears off, that skin is better, tighter, stronger. And that's all the things: skincare, treatments, facials, hydrofacials, microneedling, all the things. All the things. Yeah.
See, I was always like, I don't think I'm going to go down the Botox route. But then I had this big boy right in the middle of my forehead.
No, it's a wonderful thing.
I am very animated. And so once I dabbled and I was like, oh, it's gone now? Okay. But yes, the skincare needs to continue. Yeah. I notice I need to hydrate. When I am dehydrated, I see everything so much deeper than I would if I'm just like, Meghan, you just drink the water, get your electrolytes, do the things, girl. But oh my gosh.
Yeah, dehydration, lack of sleep, caffeine, all those things, you're going to start seeing the wrinkles even more.
Caffeine too. I drink a lot of that.
I know. For every cup of coffee or caffeine, you have to have an extra cup of water. Yeah.
Oh my, I'm going to be peeing all the time, more than I already do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you probably just, in your line of work, I know you probably see men and women, but probably majority, a lot of women. But if you could get some of these hockey players to come in, and what would you say their skin would probably need after all of that sweat and cool air in the arena? What would they need?
They need hydration. Yeah. And they're probably chapped. I mean, I've seen some of them, they get red, they're chapped. Yeah. They need a good cleanser. I'm hoping they're washing their faces. I'm hoping with other than just a towel. Yeah.
I'm sure they don't.
Good cleanser and like a really good moisturizer. And even they need to wear sunscreen. That's a big thing. Yeah. Yes. Because they golf and then they get the sun damage and then,
Yeah. These guys, they're not thinking about any of that.
They're not thinking about any of that. Can I have a sip of this?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Actually, that's perfect that you're taking a sip of that now, because this segment is called Spill the Tea.
Oh dear.
It's really not that bad. I'm just going to ask.
I don't think I have as much info as you'd like.
All info is great info, and you are a wonderful person to chat with. So, okay, does Jeff have any pregame rituals? I know you talked about that a little bit beforehand, but especially when he was a player, is there anything like different?
Cookies, chocolate chip cookies.
Before the game?
Oh, yes, 2.
So do you make these for him?
No.
Or does he just
any cookie will do.
Okay.
Anything will do. Any chocolate chip cookie will do.
2 chocolate chip cookies.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. Okay.
It used to be pasta for pregame, but now they're healthier, but not cookies. Yeah.
We can never say no to the cookies. That is a good thing to know. What advice, and maybe you have given this advice, what advice as a wife to a coach and a former player would you give to one of the other young wives now that are married to the players? Like any tidbits?
What advice? Enjoy the ride. and don't take it too seriously. I mean, it's fun, and you never know how long it's going to last. Jeff's been really lucky. I mean, this is not my job. I'm just sort of like the sidecar. He's been really lucky to have had such a long career and, play and do what he loves for his dream. So enjoy it, because you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen when this ride ends for him. I don't know. Yeah. So enjoy it while you can, and don't stress out. Of course, I should tell Jeff this, because even like on, games when they lose, it's like, oh my God, you'd think he was out there responsible for the loss, He takes it very personally. But,
that is something, sorry, I'm going off script now. That is something I did want to ask you. What is the vibe like when he gets home after a loss, specifically a playoff loss?
He very much takes his work home with him. Moody, quiet, brooding. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. But then with a big win,
it's light and, talky, and let's watch a show, or, let's meet for a drink after, or get something to eat. But so it's very opposite ends of the spectrum, as you would expect.
For sure. And I know that all of us fans are the same way. I feel the same way when I'm like, guys, we could have had that one. Like, I'm out there, and I'm not even out there,
I think some guys might just be like, okay, it's work, and they leave it there and they come home. I don't know. Jeff's never been like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can understand. Yeah. I feel like I'm the same way as a fan. I did want to ask you, when he was a player, did he always know that he wanted to go into coaching? Or did it just kind of happen?
I don't know that he knew that. I think as a player, you want to play for as long as you can play, and you hope to be able to stay in the game.
Yeah.
In any way possible. Mm-hmm. So I think some people. I think he. You go into scouting, coaching.
Yeah.
He really was intrigued by the management side. I think he thought that he wanted to get into management in that regard. And he was able to do that because when he was in the minors, you were the coach and the general manager at the same time. So, but he loves it. I mean, when you're a coach, you're still in the room and you're still part of the group. And so, he loves what he does. He's been very lucky to be able to do and play and coach. And do what he loves.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming here after work. I mean, I know you're a busy woman. You're gorgeous in your scrubs, and I'm going to need to come to the med spa because I need a facial.
Absolutely.
Very badly. So thank you for that. And yes, thank you for being on the podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Iced Tea, and a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Lane & Associates Family Dentistry. Don't forget to share this podcast with someone you know.